This show is like if you tried to write a show one episode at a time by using scenes from a hat prompt, like in Whose Line Is It Anyway?
See, this still sounds great to me.
Hey, Sarah, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol anime. I'm Star.
And I'm Sarah.
And welcome.
And welcome! Today we are doing a very obscure idol anime that I hadn't heard of until you brought it to me, Star.
Yeah, it was actually really weird. So a little bit of a tangent, and I promise this is relevant. So I just moved into a new house. I spent the last couple weeks moving. It was like a whole thing. And while I was unpacking, I found a secret door in the garage. And so when I went into the secret door, it led down like this really weird, like kind of like weird stairway that was not mentioned in the seller's disclosure, by the way. So I felt a little bit offended by that. And like the seller of this house has already done so much bullshit to me, la-di-da. Anyway, went down the tunnel. I know I shouldn't have gone down the tunnel, but I went down the tunnel.
It happens.
Because I was curious and I'm white, so I would be the first one to die in the horror movie. It's fine. So I went down this tunnel, and wouldn't you know it, I found a DVD.
Wow.
And I was like, well, this surely could not be a cursed item. So I put it into the DVD player, and it was this anime. And then I sent it to Sarah, so she watched it, and now she has to send it to somebody else, or else she will die in 7 days. But I figure that maybe if we just tell everybody about it, we will be free from the curse that this anime placed on us.
Yeah, so that's why we actually are doing this kind of as an emergency episode, because if I don't talk about it right now, there's a chance I might die. So it happens.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what will happen, but I got a weird phone call like the day after I watched it that was like 7 days, and I was like, okay, well, I should have blocked spam numbers, but yes.
I got that phone call too, but I'm pretty sure it was my dentist because I have an appointment soon, so maybe it was your dentist.
Oh, well, I'm not due for my next appointment for a couple of months, so I don't know. Anyway, welcome to our podcast. Today we're talking about the show I found in my basement.
Yay!
What's the show called, Sarah?
The show is called Calendar Girls.
Wow!
Well, I think it's called Calendar Girls. Like, you know how, like, you can put text in, like, that text exploder thing? Because it kind of looks like the text was exploded a little bit, but it looks like it says Calendar Girls.
We ran it through a couple of ciphers, and we're pretty sure it says Calendar Girls, but, like, don't quote us on it. Don't Google it either, because you will not find it. This show is only available in the weird hole in my basement.
It happens. Or, I mean, if you do Google it and you find it, don't forget to tell someone else about it within the next week.
So this show is weird.
I don't know. It seems like it has a lot of tropes. I would say it's weird, but like it's also really predictable, you know?
Yeah, it's like it's like the people who wrote it had like a list of tropes in a spreadsheet. And they were just like, do that one next. And then they did that one next. It was really weird.
Yep. It's just like a roll of the dice on what idol trope comes next.
Yep. Yep.
So, Star, before we get into the episodes, do we want to talk about the girls?
Yes, let's talk about the girls, because there's a weird number of girls for an idol show. Usually they stick to odd numbers, but this one actually has 4 of them.
Just like K-On! Season 1.
That's true. Oh God, Sarah, do you think that there is a season 2 of this anime?
I don't know. I haven't checked my house for any weird doors since I bought it. Maybe I should.
You should probably do that.
I probably should.
Yeah. Anyway, so our first character, our center, our main girl, her name is Suki, like Moon.
Suki Shigatsu.
Yeah. And so she is our center, and she is very much your stereotypical pink one. She has like almost fluorescent pink hair.
It's so bright.
In like these pigtails. Yeah, it's like no matter what the lighting on the scene is, her hair is the brightest thing in the shot.
And it's kind of funny because she also follows the trope of Love Live where she does have like a little pigtail, but it's like a little bit on the side. But it like switches which side it's on depending on the shot.
Because what's character consistency, am I right?
Right?
Yeah, so that's her. She's very much your stereotypical Genki pink leader who blinds everyone who looks at her from the sheer pinkness of her hair. Sarah, why don't you tell us about our next character?
So our next character is May. She's the blue one. In every sense of the word, she just seems like the blue one.
Yeah.
She's very serious. She has like straight bangs and really long blue-black hair. She's very quiet, very like, I am serious about being an idol, and also I love to sing. And at the beginning, there's tension between her and May, but then they're in love because that's what happens.
Yeah, Sarah's pretty confident that they're in love. It's debatable. Also, the other thing about her is that I had a thing I was gonna say and I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, she's like such a blue character that if you listen closely, under all of her dialogue, like it's kind of cursed. If you listen real closely and you turn it up really loud and you just listen, you can kind of sort of hear Blue by Eiffel65 playing under every single line of dialogue that she has.
It's really weird. And I guess this is at some point we should mention, so the DVD that Star found, it wasn't in English, but it wasn't in Japanese either. We couldn't quite tell what language it was, but it did have subtitles.
And it did have Eiffel65 playing very, very quietly underneath
Just
all
a
of
little bit.
May's audio.
And then, Star, do you want to talk about one of the sisters?
Yeah, so I'll talk about Junko, who is the third member of the group. The fourth member does not join until a little bit later on in the season. It's like a Love Live, gotta catch 'em all type situation. So Junko is the little sister type, and her thing is like she has like the high pitched squeaky voice, but it's almost like so high that it made my cats act weird when I was playing it. Like I played this DVD and her voice was so high I heard the next door neighbor's dog start barking every time she talked. So that was weird. Also, I know that like some people enjoy short characters, but Junko's like she I think she's like a gnome, like a D&D gnome. Like it's a joke that people keep tripping over her. She is so small.
Yeah.
And it feels like she just keeps getting smaller every episode, and I feel like eventually maybe she will just disappear.
That's very, very possible. She is kind of a forgettable character too. Like she has a couple of important scenes, but it really is just about the blue and the pink one.
Yeah, she's definitely third wheeling. Maybe that's why she keeps getting smaller, is because how big she is. Like her physical size depends on how much people care about her in the show. This is so mean.
Wow, Star, I see how you feel about short people.
Yeah, I hate them. I hate short people. Especially when they just like kick my ass. Sarah.
It seems like Star has a trauma with this idol show.
Listen, I have some emotions and feelings. I have strong feelings about the weird cursed DVD I found in my basement. Lay off. Tell us about our last girl, Sarah.
Our last girl, it's actually Junko's half-sister. She doesn't show up for a couple episodes. She comes in from America, and she's actually half Japanese. Her name is Julia. She's really... like, it's really weird. She's exactly like Mari Love Live.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not sure when this show came out, but like, her voice sounds extremely similar in everything.
Exactly. She always makes like the half English quips. She doesn't have the little swirl on the top of her hair, but it is blonde, and she has big bazoongas. And she's you know she's half Japanese because she has blonde hair and blue eyes. She's
blonde, yes.
Just like me.
Yes, yeah, just like Sarah, yeah.
Just like me.
Yeah, so those are our four girls. There are some other characters who come up later, but those four are the most important ones. So just to run them down again real quick, we have Suki, who is the center. She is fluorescent pink. We have May. She is the blue one. We have Junko, who keeps getting smaller. And we have Julia, who is American. Half American, half Japanese.
Exactly.
So let's
America.
get into it.
Yeah.
From America.
So episode 1, let me go first. 16? Oh, wow, so really quickly.
Yeah, so this show, like as predictable as it is, they definitely seem like they do some stuff out of order. So Sarah, tell us how the anime starts.
So the anime actually starts with our main character, Suki, and she is an aspiring idol. Like, she really, really wants to be an idol really, really bad, but she doesn't know where to start. So immediately, she talks to her next door neighbor, who actually is an idol already.
Okay, and what's her name? Tell me everything about her, Sarah.
Her name is Keiko. And
Keiko.
yes, Keiko. And she is really tall, really mature. She is an idol. The reason why she's living in the small town and is Suki's next door neighbor is because she's actually doing a film shoot. So Suki's just been like admiring her all the time, right?
Okay.
And Suki's like, hey, you know what I need to do is I need to start an idol group really bad.
Oh, I see. What's her motivation for starting an idol group? She's just like, I mean, her motivation for starting an idol group is, I totally watched this anime. But Sarah, you're already talking. Why don't you elaborate on what her motivation is?
Well, I mean, she's wanted to be, of course, Suki's wanted to be an idol ever since she was a baby, right? So you keep getting those flashbacks to like baby Suki watching an idol on TV and she gets all sparkly eyed, right? Mm-hmm. And so she's
and she's like dancing in her living room in front of the TV, but her parents can't see the TV past her like neon hair, and they're like, "Oh God, she's a protagonist."
And I think that so it was a little unclear because again, sometimes it wasn't in English, it wasn't in Japanese, and sometimes the subtitles kind of got a little fuzzy, right? And your brain just you can't quite grasp what's going on. But I think that her main motivation for starting the idol group now is just because her idol senpai moved in next door.
And so she's like, wow, I love my senpai. I want to be an idol too. Like that little kid who sees you start a new hobby and is like, I will also do that. And kind of like copies everything you do.
Exactly. And so Keiko's like, well, I mean, basically, it's like not really, but it's basically the trope of like, well, you can't do this on your own. There needs to be a group because there has to be other girls for a multimedia idol franchise. Go find a blue one, basically.
Go to the store, locate a blue one.
So, Star, what happens next?
Yeah, so Suki is like, I gotta go find a blue one, but I don't know what that means. So she goes to the place where she thinks she would be able to find the most blue, which is of course the ocean. So she gets, but unfortunately she lives in like this small town that's like in a prefecture that's totally landlocked, and she's like, but how do I get to the ocean? So she gets on a train and she goes to Tokyo. Because Tokyo is like near-ish to it's at least closer to the ocean, and she's like, wow, there's so many people, but I gotta find the ocean. And then while she's like trying to ask around, asking, hey, where's the ocean, she bumps into our second main character, like literally just like,
runs
they
right
do
into
that
her
thing where it's just like face in titties for just like half a second, which I don't enjoy.
But yeah, they basically like it's almost a kiss, right? Because they're in love.
Yeah, but this is like their meet cute is, I just bumped into you on the street, and this is where we meet May, who is just like, hey, yo, watch where you going.
Our classic New York accent.
Yeah, hey, watch where you going. I'm walking here. I'm an anime girl.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, because, turns out that May actually did a study abroad in New York. We learned this later, but she did a study abroad in New York, and she just picked up the accent while she was there.
Exactly so. And so our sparkly pink center Suki, she looks at May and she's like, oh my God, you need to be an idol with me.
And May's like, hey, yo, what's an idol? What you talking about?
What you talking about?
And May's like, or sorry, Suki is like, I'm trying to start an idol group, and my idol senpai said I need to find a blue one, and you're the bluest person here, and also you're cute, and your voice is very unique. Do you want to be an idol with me?
Which is wild, because she's never heard her sing, but that's not really unusual for idol shows. Sometimes people are like, oh, yep, I can tell you're an idol. I just know.
The vibes that you're giving off are, like, crazy. So at this point, they're starting to attract some attention, so May kind of, like, drags her to somewhere a little bit more private. They go in, like, this little cafe, and Sarah, what's the cafe called? I didn't write it in my notes.
The cafe is called Cafe Orange Julius.
I would have said Jamba Juice, but okay. Cafe Jamba Juice.
Well, this is actually a DQ subsidiary. It's Orange Julius.
Gotcha. Yeah, we don't have those in Texas, so I wasn't familiar. Anyway, so they go in this cafe, and so they just kind of like shoot the shit for a while, and Suki talks about her motivation, and May's just like, I don't know what you're talking about, but this sounds fun, I guess.
Yes. And so at some point during this episode, it's kind of wild. So they're in the cafe, and like a little bit before May agrees, Suki is like, hey, you got to be an idol. The best way I can convince you to be an idol is to show you how I can sing. And then she sings a cover of one of her idol senpai's songs.
Ooh, which song is it?
It's Suki Daisuki.
Ah, yes, my favorite song in this totally real anime that I found in my basement. Play the track.
It's actually like, even though it's mostly a cappella, it really spoke to me, Star. It like resonated. It's just about love and love of idols and love of other girls and idol music.
And like at this point, she's attracting the attention of like everybody in this cafe, which is like a little bit cringe, but you know, idols gotta idoru.
And basically, May's like, well, I'll join your group. It sounds like fun. You gotta shut your trap. I can't do a New York accent.
And Suki's like, okay.
And so then it's kind of cute. So like post credits, you see Suki texting her idol senpai, and she's like, please cheer me on. I found another member. And Keiko's like, yep, I will cheer you on. And I can't wait till you're top idol with me too.
Good luck on your cringe exploits. Let's go!
So, Star, you want to start episode 2?
Yeah, so episode 2, 10. They decide, it's like, okay, well, we've got 2. That's totally enough for a group. Let's get good. It's time for the training camp episode, which is honestly kind of early in the show. Like I said, it's like usually the training camp is like after the entire group has been assembled, but fuck it, training camp in episode 2.
Yes. So they start looking at things that they can afford to do at training camp. Because again, Suki is in Tokyo from out of town. May is in Tokyo for the first time in years after being in New York.
And the thing is, like, you can tell that Suki didn't really, like, plan this thing through. She doesn't really have any money. She just kind of got on a train to go be Idoru and ended up in this rather expensive city with, like, no money to her name. And she's just like, oh, shit. And so she's like, she, like, sleeps in an alley, or, like, she tries to, and then May's just like, no, come to my house, you dumb motherfucker. Or, sorry, come to my house, you dumb motherfucker.
Oh, she got texting.
I'm walking here.
And actually on the way to May's apartment, there's like a little paper that flies by, and it's a flyer. And they catch it in the air, and wouldn't you know, it is a flyer for a free idol training camp.
But that's extremely convenient.
Yeah, there's like, I feel like a lot of the time these girls just get the thing that they need handed directly to them to have it resolved within the episode.
Yeah, which is like, you know, Star's favorite thing. Favorite trope is when characters just get things handed to them. But in this case, it works out because I don't know how this episode would have proceeded any other way.
Yes, definitely.
So they see the flyer and they were like, "Hey, you want to? I guess we're gonna be idols. Maybe we should go to this."
So they get on the train and they end up at the training camp, which is actually like an old, like ryokan, like an old Japanese style inn. And when they open the door, who's there but our little sister character?
Aw,
It's Junko.
it's Junko. She's here. And so turns out she actually works at this ryokan. Her family owns it. And so she welcomes them in and she's like, "Hi, I'm Junko. I'm going to be helping you. Welcome to your ryokan." And then, like, this is the first of the many gags where, like, she's so small that, like, one of the characters just doesn't see her and then accidentally trips over her.
Yep.
This happens a lot. I'm not going to mention it. Just assume that it happens in, like, every
all
scene
the
that
time.
Junko is in.
Every episode. And you also find out that Junko is the one who made the flyer for the training camp because she wanted to be an idol. And without her family's permission, she just started pushing these flyers out everywhere, hoping that she could lure some unsuspecting young girls into the ryokan to start an idol group.
We love that hustle.
We love that hustle.
And so the two girls, Suki and Mei, are just like, "Well, hey, we're here to learn how to be idols, so are you going to teach us how to be idols?" And Junko's like, "Yes."
Yes. So they start doing training together. Junko's actually really good at crumping. Like, just really, really good at it.
Sarah, no, I haven't got lyrics now. This is comically small anime girl.
Just tiny, in the corner, minuscule, taking up 1/100th of the screen. Just flailing.
But she's just going hard.
She's just going so hard.
Fuck, I'm crying. We're only 20 minutes in and this fucking show has already broken me. Oh no. Okay, mark 1 point for Sarah. Made me cry laugh. So far, Sarah's winning the podcast. God damn it.
Hey.
Welcome to Idol Days, where everything's made up and the points don't matter, but they do to me because my pride is on the line here.
There we go.
Anyway, so they see Junko in the corner just crumping her brains out.
Yep. And then what happens?
And they were like, "Wow, that's really cool, but like that's not very idly. Can you like do the idol step or like can you sing or anything?" And Junko's like, "Why would I need to do that when I can do this?" And she just keeps going.
So you can already tell, even though their group of 3 is together, they're still not quite congruous on what they want their idol group to be like.
Yeah. Like, everybody kind of has a different idea of what they want the group to be like, and so we have our first kind of intergroup conflict.
So Suki just wants them to be like a very traditional idol group that basically does covers of her idol senpai Keiko's music.
And then Mei wants to be a rapper. Like, she wants to be a rap idol.
Yep. And then, of course, Junko doesn't care what they do as long as she can just, like, crump.
And so Suki's just like, "Well, this is not exactly what I thought about, but okay, why don't we each take some time and each practice our own thing, and then maybe at the end of the training camp we can find a way to figure out how to merge all of these ideas into our ideal idol group."
And then, just like any training camp episode, even though they do have training, they do have to do some training camp things. So, like, they all cook together. They go fishing. There's, like, a little gag where there's, like, a bear that attacks them, and Mei and Suki run away, and then Junko's just so small, the bear doesn't even see her.
Yeah, so that was like a whole thing. There's like all kind of gags. They do like a test of courage, like out in the woods, and then the fucking bear comes back, and they're like, "Ah, shit!"
Yep. Oh, and then, so through all of these just normal training camp challenges, like not even them practicing, they become closer as a team. And actually, the reason why we wanted to allude to the bear there is actually, yep, I know. The next day, the bear shows up and they get all freaked out. and it like paws at the door and then it leaves and you're like, okay, what's going on? And it turns out the bear left a note with what they should do as an idol group. And Star, what did that note say?
The note that the bear left on the door. It says, the note says, synergize.
Yep. And so because they see this word left by the bear, they're like, synergize. And then
Synergize.
And then Junko just starts like slowly bringing up a crump, right? And then Meg starts like doing like a little backbeat, right? Mm-hmm. And then Suki starts singing an idol song on top of the backbeat, and it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. And so with their powers combined, they're able to form the ultimate idol. They're idol pentatonics?
They're idol pentatonics.
It's like, I guess that's a cappella, but it doesn't... I'm thinking of a different word, and I can't think of what it is.
But they have their groove, and they're very excited, and they're like, wow, I can't believe we found our synergy. The only thing we really need is someone who can do the orchestration. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, none of us can write music. And then little Junko pipes up and is like, actually, my half-sister is coming from America soon. And you're like, oh? And then that episode cuts. You're like, oh, no, what's happening? Mm-hmm.
Yep. So episode 3.
Yep.
Lead us in, Sarah.
It's a natural one, so we're going straight to the beach.
Beach episode!
Again, not much has happened, really, when you think about it.
It's like we're getting all the fluff out of the way, right?
Yep.
Which is like a bold move for a show, you know? But like I can respect it, I suppose, trying to break the mold.
Yep. So because they work so hard on their training camp and they're like, we need to go somewhere where there isn't bears, why don't we go to the beach?
Mm-hmm. And luckily there actually is a beach near this ryokan. It was just like they couldn't see it through the trees. And Junko's like, oh yeah, I think there's a beach that way. And they walk like 10 feet and there it is. And Suki's like, holy shit.
And overall, it really is like a fluffy slice of life episode. Just a lot of like bathing suit shots, you know, some of the girls almost kissing. Junko does get kidnapped by crabs, though. I just wanted to bring this up. That Junko did get kidnapped by crabs.
The crab scene? That was weird and kind of felt out of place.
I know, and it just like brought me back to Love Live because like in a lot of ways it was so similar because the crabs kidnapped her and then they went and they talked about like, hey, what are your goals as an idol? And we're gonna beat you in top idol. Like not Love Live, but it totally was Love Live one day, and you're like, wow.
So wait, the crabs are the idols?
I don't know. It was just really out of place, but I guess so.
I think maybe so. This is gonna come up later, but I think actually like those. It never explains this in the show. Mm-hmm. But I think that those crabs may have been the rival idol group that shows up later.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Because some of the things that they say later on, just like, oh, these are crab people.
And that one crab had purple eyes and the girl, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're the most anime fucking crabs ever. Anyway, you also mentioned like that this episode just reminded you of Love Live, and I will argue that it also reminded me of Love Live Sunshine, because in the last episode, we mentioned Junko's sister coming in from America and how she's basically just Mari from Love Live Sunshine. Well, she do show up on a helicopter to rescue her younger sister from the crabs.
Yep, and that is when we do meet Julia. Again, exactly like Mari from Love Live without the little twirly hair.
Yep. Like, basically, you could show me a picture of Mari from Love Live, just, like, Photoshop out the little hair swirly. I'm like, yep, that's Junko from Calendar Girls. We said the title of the show at the front, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
But they haven't named their idol group yet. That's really important.
No, they have not.
That's later on.
Yes.
So at the very end of the episode is when Junko comes back with her sister, Julia, And Suki and May, I don't know, they were doing some like makeout session on the beach. I'm not sure. That's just what I'm assuming. And they're like, who's this? And then the episode cuts. And you're like,
yep.
oh, what's going to happen next?
What's gonna happen next? So now at this point, we're like a quarter of the way through this iDOL anime, and not a whole lot has happened. But I mean, you get the fluff out of the way at the beginning, I guess. Anyway, Episode 4. Okay, someone has to move overseas. Oh no! So Julia has just gotten here, and she's like, "Konnichiwa, everybody! I am from America, and my little sister says that you guys want to start an idol group. I can write music. Let me write idol music for your idol group."
And they're all like, yeah, we definitely need music. Please, please, please help us out. But Julia's like, I will help you out on one condition, which is when we're done writing the music, we are all moving to America to be an idol group in America instead.
And everyone else is like, huh?
Nani?
Because, like, you know, like, May lived in New York for a while, so she's like, oh, well, I just moved back, but, like, I guess I could go back to America, and everybody else is just like, but I don't speak any English! Are there even idols in America? What do we do?
And then, Julia is like, there are idols in America, and she actually turns on the TV and like not American Idol is playing, but it totally is American Idol, and Kelly Clarkson is on the TV.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how they got the rights to use her image in this anime. It's an odd choice.
I'm wondering if maybe this Idol anime was sponsored by Kelly Clarkson, because I have noticed that there are a lot of references to her songs, like in just like the advertisements in the background, like,
oh yeah, you know. I'm not as familiar with her music, so maybe I just didn't catch that. Why don't you enlighten me on what some of those were, Sarah?
Yeah, well, like right now, the TV, it is actually a breakaway television, right? And then there's like a Since You've Been Gone ice cream wrapper nearby. Just like little things.
Okay.
So they're like, wow, I guess there are idols in America after all.
And Julia is like, yeah, and so while I was in America, I was studying the most popular types of music in America, and I think that I can write you guys a song that will stand out and make you guys uber, like, super famous. And she's like, in fact, I've already started working on a song. I just needed the perfect group to sing it, and I think you guys are it. And so she pulls out her, like, little iPod, and she, like, hands them all the earphones. So the weird thing is, like, Julia has 3 ears, and so she just happens to carry around, like, 3-pronged headphones, which is how the rest of the girls can all listen to the song at the same time.
It is funny because her third ear is in the same place where Mari's loopy loop is. I just realized that.
Yeah, it is pretty weird, but, like, I guess they thought that an ear would make, like, a third ear on the side of her head would make more sense than Mari's hair loopy, which, honestly, I'm not gonna fight them on.
Yeah,
the hair
that
loopy
makes
doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right, Mari from Love Life, my birthday twin. I'm calling you out for having a stupid hairstyle. What? But yeah, so she presses play on this song, and it's, like, this extremely catchy ska music.
Yeah, just like brass instruments everywhere.
There's just like a little MIDI, pick it up in the background, like every now and then. And she's like, I haven't written the lyrics for it yet. And again, I don't have vocals because we haven't written the lyrics and I've been trying to find a group to sing it. But I think this song would be perfect for you guys.
And all the girls are all sparkly eyed and they're like, oh, we have to sing this song. But poor Suki is like, but I don't want to move to America. I don't speak English.
And then May's just like, well, don't worry. English isn't that hard. I bet I can teach you real quick. And then she, like, headbutt Suki and just, like, downloads. It was so fucking weird. It's like, she's just like, now look into my eyes. and then they have like this moment where they look in their eyes, and you think they're gonna kiss, and then Mei just like grabs the back of Suki's head and just slams her head into like her forehead, and just you see like this weird little screen like pop up in Mei's eyes that says "Now downloading entire knowledge of English."
Which I mean, that's probably how idols work.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, like, so I'm pretty sure Mei is a robot. She could also just be American, because I've definitely seen people do that before.
Or a New Yorker, especially.
Yeah, like, New York is, like, has all, like, that weird technology that we're not allowed to talk about.
But Suki is still a little concerned about going to America, so she's like, hey, I need to speak to an American idol. Like, I really need to talk to somebody who can give me more insight. And Julia's like, well, why don't you talk to Kelly senpai? And so she calls over her on the phone, on a video chat. She calls her senpai Kelly, which actually I'm realizing, do you think she was supposed to be Kelly Clarkson?
I mean, based on what you said earlier, yes, Sarah, I think that she's probably Kelly Clarkson.
That makes so much sense now that I think about it.
Kelly Clarkson's in the Deep Speech anime.
And so Kelly Clarkson talks to Mei about like what it is like to be an American Idol and to be in America, and also is like, hey Mei, or hey Suki, what you got to do is what you like more than anything else, you just need to follow your dreams.
So Suki is just like, well, I'm scared about moving to America. I did talk to Kelly senpai, but this is all just really scary and new for me, and like moving to a new country where I only just downloaded the language into my synapses. What do I do? So she's just kind of like having to think with herself, and she kind of like goes for a walk in the woods, like kind of around the ryokan, and then the bear shows up again. And the bear just kind of like looks at her and doesn't do anything. And she's like, you're that bear who left that weird like note on our door earlier. Are you trying to help us? And the bear just like nods. And then he turns around like he wants her to follow him. And so she follows this bear to a weird like cave, like deep in the woods. And like it's kind of dark now. It's kind of creepy. But Sarah, what do they find in this cave?
Well, first, actually, the episode cuts, and then we go to the next episode.
What episode are we on now? 4?
Yes. And it's
no,
2.
This is episode 5.
Yeah, this is episode 5. I rolled a 2, and which actually is perfect for this. And inside the cave, there's actually a bunch of like primitive pictures of idols, right?
Yeah.
And presumably the bear drew them or something, right? And she sees like a picture of Mei, and well, it looks like Mei. It has to be Mei, and Mei is
because like the hair is so pink.
Yeah. Well, no, this is Mei. This is a blue one.
Mei. Sorry.
Yeah, it's blue paint, right? So, and she's like sparkly on the stage, and she is just rapping so good. Like you could tell how good she is at rapping. And then you see a picture of Junko, and she, it's Junko because like it's really, really tiny, and it just looks like she's in the middle of a great crump, right? Like she's doing so good.
Yeah.
And then you see Julia, and she is like doing an idol thing, but she has music notes all around her, and you're like, wow, she is just incredible at composing. She's actually holding a saxophone, so you're like, wow, she loves woodwinds and brass and ska,
And ska. She loves ska so much.
And then right in the middle is, you assume Mei, because you assume it's Suki, because it's like fluorescent pink, right?
Yeah.
And it's her, and she just has like her hands up in like the, like that emote.
Yeah.
And Suki's
when you
like
/shrug on Discord.
Exactly. And she's like, what does this mean, bear? And the bear is just like staring at her.
The bear does the shrug thing. The bear's like, It actually like makes that noise. It's just like, I'm a fucking bear. What do you want?
And this just kind of puts Suki in the like, I don't know who I am or what I want to be. Maybe I'm not meant to be an idol like all of my other idol bandmates.
And so she's just kind of like looking at this picture, and she's just we almost have like a recap episode, which is wild because it's episode 5,
and also
and they
nothing
haven't done
happened.
anything. But she's like thinking back on when she first met May just on that random street, and when they went and like sang cringily in the cafe, and like the song plays again. There's like a soft sad piano cover of the song that she sang in the first episode playing under this scene. It's very emotional. And we like flash back to like them tripping over Junko, like every single time that they have tripped over little sister Junko. Like it's a lot. It takes up like half the flashback, just them tripping over Junko. It's a little excessive.
Yeah, and you even see like a shot of the crabs, which again makes sense for later on in the series. But at this point, I'm like,
what just happened?
It just happened.
Maybe I'm not a good idol. I couldn't rescue my fellow idol member from the crabs. God damn, what good Anna am I? And so the entire time she's having this crisis, the bear is just staring at her. And she's like, oh man, Mr. Bear, maybe I'm not cut out to be an idol. What should I do?
And then the bear turns into... Star, what does he turn into?
He turns into Simon Cowell. But it's like the anime version of Simon Cowell.
You know, I'm wondering if this DVD was sponsored by American Idol.
I have a feeling it probably was, but our podcast is not sponsored by American Idol. Our podcast is sponsored by us.
Yes. And Simon Cowell, I can't do a great British accent.
Oh, I don't even know what the fuck Simon Cowell sounds like, so like anything you do, it will impress me.
And he's like, Suki, you gotta work harder.
You gotta be an idol, Suki. Pretend. Okay, our lovely audience, just pretend like this is what anime Simon Cowell sounds like. Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
It's not in English or Japanese, so it's really hard to place.
I think I actually looked it up. I think it's in like deep speech, like the fictional language deep speech from Dungeons and Dragons. I think this whole anime is in deep speech, which would make this Eldritch God Simon Cowell anime version.
That makes sense.
Yep.
And Suki's like, I'm working as hard as I can. What can I do to work harder? What do you mean, Simon Cowell Bear?
Simon Cowell looks at her, and he just like kind of holds out his hand in this dramatic pose, and he just says, synergize. And then he like fades into like little specks of light, and he's just like, you just gotta believe in yourself, Suki. And he's like slowly dissolving into light, and Suki's like, wait, Mr. Bear, I mean Simon Cowell, Eldritch God, Deep Speaker, Simon Cowell, wait, what do I have to do? And he's like, the answer will find you in America. Good job! Do your best! I was a bear for some reason. You've broken my curse! Thank you for breaking my curse, Suki! Okay, bye!
Which, I'm wondering if that's an Udapri reference.
You think it's an Udapri reference? I don't know enough about
be.
Udapri. The only thing I know about Udapri is what you have told me about Udapri, so it might be an Udapri reference.
With the weird place with the Cecil who was a cat and the curse was broken by Haruka.
Oh, yeah, that is weird.
Idol Illuminati confirmed, Star.
Fucking firmed.
It has to be a reference.
It has to be a reference. Did you know that in season 12 of Uda no Prince Sama, Simon Cowell will be the rival idol group?
Or their producer, we don't know.
Well, one of them. I don't fucking know.
So even though she's not feeling like she's gonna be great at being an idol, she feels like Simon Cowell Bear gave her direction, and it's time to move to America.
Yep. And now it's time for episode... Wait, did we already cut the episode? Is it time for episode 6?
It's time for episode 6,
It's time for episode 6. So let's find out what I totally know what happens in episode 6. It's time to meet the rival idol group.
Which, now that you're talking about these crabs, Star, it makes so much sense.
And so there's 3 of them. They're like an idol trio. And so the leader... she's got like this red hair, like crimson red hair, and like these pigtails, and like I'm not sure if this is just the art style, but Like, the pigtails kind of look like the crab claws.
And she does have the purple eyes, just like the crab.
She does have the purple eyes, just like the crab. I'm telling you, Sarah, Illuminati confirmed these girls are crabs.
I think you're right.
Her name is Akane. Yeah, and so then the second one.
The second one is Sakura. She's really short, but she's definitely not as short as Junko. Like, no way.
No.
But she is like the uwu one. She has like pink hair and a little braid. She's kind of shy. I ship her and Junko, like the two shorties. Yeah, the two little shrimps. Ship them.
Yeah, and so then the last one, best girl.
I
best
knew it
fucking
would be
girl.
Star. When I saw her, I'm like, this is a Star character.
Yeah, so the last character, her name is Ai. She is very tall. She's like kind of the cool type. She's got like this kind of dark purple long hair, and she's like kind of buff.
Yeah.
Like she never has sleeves, and so you're always just like staring at her arm muscles, and I'm like, hell yeah, baby, take me to the gun show. Fuck yeah. It's a pretty regular gag that she'll just pick up her group mates and carry them around.
Yes, definitely.
Like, we love to see it. Fuck yeah.
And they're all like, hey, we heard from iDOL Kelly Senpai that a new group was coming into town, but we wanted to let you know that this is our turf.
And then they just like start snapping.
And they crab walk away.
And they crab walk away.
Like
while
sideways.
snapping. And then Julia's just like, welcome to New York.
So there's a few scenes of them exploring the city, and everywhere they look, there's just merchandise for these crab idols. And they're like, oh,
their
shit.
group name is Crustacean Station, by the way. We didn't say that earlier.
They're totally crabs. I don't know how I didn't catch this.
Yeah, like, Sarah, it's extremely obvious that these are the
my
crabs.
gosh.
What were they doing on that random beach a few episodes ago? I have no idea. But they are here now. They are the rivals. They are crabs.
They're crabs. And they're like, wow, there's no way we can compete with these crab idols.
And May's like, well, we have to. And if we want to be top idols, eventually we are going to go face to face with them. But Suki is still kind of like feeling down from her weird conversation with Bear Simon Cowell in the cave. And so she's like not entirely sure like she's ready for it. But the other girls kind of give her a pep talk, and she's feeling a little bit better, but she's still kind of nervous.
But that night, Suki goes out on her own just to explore because she's in a new foreign land. She doesn't know what's going on with these crab idols. All she wanted was to start an idol group. And as soon as she steps out of her hotel, who does she see? But she sees Akane.
Oh shit, it's a rival showdown. Do.
And Akane's like, hey, we're your rivals. If you want to stay in town, you have to prove you're good enough to like at least sing alongside us, right? And so she hands Suki a business card and is like, when you're ready, let's throw down.
Throw down.
Idol music throwdown.
Idol music throwdown, yeah. And so she hints that there is a karaoke place that like all the American idols frequent.
Yep.
Which is wild because America is huge. But like just this one like karaoke place is like infamous. It's like it has private rooms, but it also has like this big main stage, and that's where the idol showdowns happen like fairly regularly.
Exactly.
It's like the underground idol scene, you know. And so she's like, meet us there Friday night, which is like at the end of the week. She's like, you have 1 week to prepare yourselves. If you lose or if you suck, we're gonna I don't know, they're crabs. What did she threaten to do to them? I forgot.
We are going to snip your hair off. They're gonna have to cut their hair. Snip them off. Snip the hair off.
Yeah. Yep, that's what crabs do. Is they give you haircuts, yes.
Next episode. The problem is, so we cut straight to the karaoke night.
This is terrifying because I don't know what you just rolled.
The karaoke night is actually on the same day and almost the same exact time as a idol performance. Their only idol performance that they have booked in America.
Oh, it's like their debut performance, but they just got challenged to a throwdown, and if they don't make the throwdown, then they're gonna have to chop all their hair off because of these crab girls. These vicious hair-cutting crab girl.
Exactly.
And so now they're like, we haven't even debuted and we're having these problems. What the fuck?
So a lot of this episode is them just training for these two performances, but still not knowing like which one they're going to sacrifice, because they don't want to sacrifice their big debut, but there's also the throwdown, and they're like, what do we do?
And so what they eventually decide to do is to split into two groups, because no idol anime has ever done this before ever.
Genius.
Yeah, so it's gonna end up being Sarah, who are the groups?
So we actually get, it's Suki, who is our center, and Julia, which is weird because they've barely interacted, right?
Yeah.
So they're one of our groups, and Suki and Julia are the ones going to challenge the crab idols, because Suki was the one who was directly challenged, and Julia speaks the best English.
There we go.
May and Junko are doing the debut because May, the rapping and the crumping go really good together.
Yeah. So like their plan is like May's just gonna like freestyle, and Junko's gonna provide background dancing and just be going ham in the background, trying to be intimidating with her glorious crumping.
And so it's actually
the character that we wrote into this.
You mean that existed in the show?
Yes, that existed in the show.
And it's kind of cool. So for the final scene on this, it actually cuts in between the two performances, and you're seeing both groups of girls doing their separate performances, but the way they cut it makes it look like it's one cohesive song.
Which is wild, because half of it is freestyle rap and the other half is ska.
Ska with idol tunes.
Ska, but like idol themed ska tunes in in like deep speech. So let's play a segment of that song real quick. Wow, wasn't that great?
So moving.
I know, right? It's like, damn.
So
It's like, this is a music genre that has never been heard before or since.
but somehow still so idol-y. Like, this is such a stereotypical idol show, you know? Like, everything about it is just pure idol anime.
Yep.
But before we hear the results of the face down and also their debut performance, the episode cuts. Next episode.
So it turns out that May, who has kind of become like their lead vocalist just because like she is the rap master. So like she always does the like super complicated rap verses. She raps too hard during this throwdown and loses her voice for a little while.
Which is bad because they just debuted.
And now they're having these problems. It's like, woof.
Woof doodles. So they all try to step in for May. There's a cute little sequence of each of them trying to rap.
Oh wait, we never talked about the results of the throwdown.
Yeah, the results of the throwdown. They won everything.
Yeah, because they were just like, the crab idols were just like, goddamn.
Yep.
I've never heard idol ska rap before, but that was incredible. I guess you are worthy of being our rivals now. Congratulations.
Yep. So they kind of fuck off. It's really weird. Like, you don't hear about them ever again.
Yeah, which is kind of a bummer because I liked them.
I know. It's just like they disappeared and you're like, did they end up in someone's dinner? You know?
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like, yeah, I think they may have just gotten snatched.
Oh no. You know how there was like a big crab feast at the end of the series? Oh no.
Sarah, no!
Do you think that's what that was?
Oh no! Well, spoilers, that doesn't happen until the last episode.
Yeah, that's last episode. Oh
Yeah.
no, though. Oh gosh, I hope
We're on
not.
episode 8 now, right?
Yeah.
Shows
I think.
Yeah, because like I go on the even episodes, and we already 6 was the one with Simon Cowell in the cave.
Right.
So this has to be episode 8.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, so So the crab idols just crab walk away and are never seen again. And your girl Star is very upset about it because I liked them. God damn it. But yeah, and so now they've successfully debuted. And everyone's talking about this weird new idol ska, but a lot of people don't really get it. And there's like 2 is a weird number for idol groups. I thought, based on the flyers that they were handing out in the last episode, I thought there were going to be 4 of them. So that's weird. And so what they do is they, so Julia is kind of, she's a member, but she also kind of becomes their manager.
Exactly.
And so she ends up is like, okay, well, just because of the weird throwdown, we should do another performance and we should do it soon and we should have a new song ready.
Exactly.
And so they schedule it, but then like the day before is when May she practices rapping too hard and like throws out her voice.
Yep. And so they're all like, oh shit, what do we do? Our rapper isn't here. So there's like a little bit where they all go through trying to rap, but none of them like are that good at it. And they're like, oh shit, I don't know what to do. How do we solve this problem?
And so like they try to write a song that doesn't have a rap verse, but they realize if they don't have a rap verse, then why is May even on stage? It's like kind of a whole thing. It's like it's kind of become like the weird rap verses mid song have kind of become their brand in like the one performance and the one throwdown they did. And so now it's just like, well, this is, what do we do if our star rapper is not here? And May gets so guilty seeing everybody else try and work around her that she actually goes off and she's like, well, I used to live in New York and I think I know someone who can help with this conundrum. And Sarah, where does she go?
She actually, because you remember that part a few episodes ago, and I'm realizing the connection now, where she like bumped into Suki and like AI had her learn American English. So she actually goes to a scientist and she's like, hey, well, I mean, she doesn't say that because she can't talk, right? But she kind of like types it out like in her like weird like, maybe she is a robot, but
I'm pretty sure she's a robot, Sarah.
Be a robot. Well, either way, she's like, hey, I can't rap, I need some help. And the scientist is like, you got it, I'm going to send out it's not Hatsune Miku, but it's Hatsune Miku.
Her hair is like pink instead of blue, so it's Sakura Miku.
It's Sakura Miku, and it is actually a computer program that can rap.
Convenient.
Very convenient.
Again, another perfect example of these characters just getting exactly what they need at every single moment. Convenient.
Convenient. And then they have their performance, and when May's rapping part is supposed to come up, instead of her rapping, it's not Hatsune Miku, like AI. And they do good, and actually in the future, every once in a while, you do hear a little bit of the AI rapping.
Yeah, so it just be kind of the not Hatsune Miku, whose name I forgot, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was like that's kind of what it sounded like on the DVD.
Yeah, I think it was like or something. But like the subtitles were in like Greek at this point or something. It was real weird.
Yeah, I didn't know how to write out the words. Yeah, it was something like that.
I think like we were talking about how Simon Cowell is an eldritch dark being. I think that not Sune Miku here might have been like also some sort of, we're just like dealing with all like there's just a weird undercurrent throughout this entire show, but like especially in the second half that just like there's this weird dark like eldritch beings just kind of like running the show, and like one of them is Simon Cowell.
Star. It's like the wall from 22/7 or the Center Nova. What if Simon Cowell is the wall? Illuminati confirmed.
God. I think you're right.
Holding a triangle above my head right now. Confirmed.
Con-fucking-firmed. Simon Cowell is the wall. He is also the voice in the cave.
And a bear.
And a bear. He's a bear, which connects to Udapri. It's all connected.
iDOL Illuminati confirmed.
iDOL Illuminati confirmed, baby. Let's fucking go.
All right. Next episode.
We're moving through these at a steady clip.
It's actually really
Episode
weird.
9.
So it's like all of a sudden the genre changes.
Oh, does it? What genre does it change to, Sarah?
So, you know how we've had this weird Eldritch God horror genre, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for those, we haven't covered this anime, but has anyone seen, I know Stars watched it, but like Puchimas? Where it's
God.
Yeah, it's just a bunch
Yeah.
of weird chibis, and they're like basically the Idolmaster girls, but they're just like weird baby chibis, and the producer's taking care of them.
And they exist alongside like the original characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like there will be Makoto, and she's carrying around like weird baby Makoto who just gets up into shenanigans, and like everybody has one, and I might have a couple of the plushies, and don't worry about it. They live on top of my dresser. It's fine.
It actually is kind of like a loving family rom-com episode.
Which is weird considering like the last episode kind of left off with like weird undercurrents of like sci-fi AI eldritch like supernatural beings, and then suddenly family rom-com slice of life shit.
Yep, so it's just like them going around New York. Let's go to a park. Oh no, there's a bunch of pigeons at the park. Like just like really mundane, not even idol stuff.
It's like it almost felt like an advertisement for New York City. Like they go to Times Square and they take a bunch of weird selfies with the street performers.
Yep. They watch American Idol live, like in the studio.
Which means I think which kind of dates this anime.
Yeah, it must have been early 2000s.
Is American Idol still going?
I think it got rebooted, but this is old American Idol that they're watching.
And actually, towards the end of the episode, when they are at that American Idol thing, like watching the performances, Suki, our main character, actually does see Simon Cowell in the judge's seat, and she tries to talk to him, but she can't. But she's able to like pass it, like get someone, get one of his like bodyguards to like give him a note from her that she wrote. And Sarah, what does the note say?
The note just like, because again, like the genre changes completely, and it's just like says tee-hee with like a little silly face with the tongue sticking out, and you're like, what are you trying to get at, Suki?
It's like you would think that she was gonna do like this whole thing is like, wow, thank you for like helping me become an idol, and I'm grateful that I was able to break your bear curse. And it's like she just completely forgot. And now she just like that Simon Cowell was in a bear or was in a cave and was a bear and was like cursed to be a bear, and he helped her by like drawing pictures of them by like drawing a cave drawing doujinshi basically.
Star just got one for me.
Yay, I did! Cave art doujinshi got Sarah.
Picturing like otaku Simon Cowell like with a happy coat and like the big like glass.
In a cave, and he's a bear. And he's like drawing with like Posca markers on the inside of a cave.
Just like one of my Japanese anime.
Just like one of my Japanese animes. And he like wants to sell his doujinshi at Comic-Con, but he can't really scan his cave drawings.
And also he's a bear.
And also he's a bear, and you can't go into Comic-Con if you're a bear, which is bullshit, by the way.
They're like, cosplayers go around the back, and he's like, I'm not a cosplayer.
I'm not a cosplayer. I'm Simon Cowell, and I'm also a bear. I just want to peddle my bear wares. Holy shit. But yeah, so like it's like Sakura just like not Sakura, Suki just completely forgot that this whole thing happened, cuz like you see her writing the note, but you don't see what it has written on it. And then when he actually like reads the note and we see what's on it, it's just like tee-hee with like a little tongue sticking out face. He's like, what the fuck is this?
But that was like, it's really weird because this episode just stands out because next episode goes right back into it, Star. So
and next episode, they film a variety show. for the first time.
And how do they get to the point where they can film the variety show? Because from what I know, they haven't done a lot of idol work yet, Star. So how does this occur?
Well, so it turns out, like, during the, like, the Slice of Life episode, it kind of ties into it, but not, like, super well, because you actually notice, like, so the three girls are just going out and doing things around New York for, like, shenanigans and bonding, but actually, Julia was the one who sent them to go out and bond, because she, meanwhile, during that entire last episode, now, episode 10, she was making them famous on TikTok.
Oh,
she was like secretly recording all of them and like editing together footage and like doing all the trending audio trends. And now they have like 100,000 followers on TikTok, and they got reached out to from an American Idol variety show that said, hey, we would love to have you guys as guests on the show.
Mm-hmm. And the show actually is them hosting American Idol.
Mm-hmm.
So they go on, none of them have been filmed on TV, and Suki still is not super comfortable with English, even though it was downloaded into her brain.
Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of it just kind of sounds like Google Translate when it's coming out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm. So the first time she goes on stage, she completely messes up. Like, she flubs up, she calls, somebody, like, well, it bleeps itself out, but you could tell it was supposed to be the F word.
Yeah, which is like wild for an anime.
Yep, absolutely. And she gets all embarrassed. But then what happens, Star?
So they meet up with Simon Cowell again, who's like, hey, so I'm Simon Cowell and you guys are gonna be our hosts for the day. And they're like, yes, it's nice to meet you. And then Simon Cowell like looks at Suki. And he, like, kind of said something. He's like, so I see your group is doing well. That's good. And Suki just kind of acts like she's never seen him before. And Simon Cowell is like, wait. Or, well, he doesn't say anything directly to her, but she's like, did she completely forget about me? And then you start to realize, oh, shit. Was Suki's, like, memory of the cave doujinshi, was that just wiped completely? And it's just, like, hinting towards, like, this weird, darker subplot that we're gonna get into.
Yeah, and, like, it's not really explained why she doesn't recognize it, but, like, you could tell, like, she's just straight up like, yep, just normal job, don't know who you are, Simon Cowell.
Yep. Even though I totally wrote you a weird note in the last episode, that was just the idol spirit compelling me to do so.
So, basically, they go backstage, the Calendar Girls, at some point they did name themselves. I forgot when that happened.
I think it was like right after their debut performance, and I don't know why they picked this name. It just kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere.
I think, if I remember right, it's because they were double booked, and they're like, we need to get better at maintaining our calendar. And we're the Calendar Girls.
That's what it was. That's what it was, yeah.
But they all get together, and they're like, okay, so here's how we're going to do this. Suki, since you're not great at talking, what if you just go up there and just like wave and get everyone cheered up, and then we'll have Julia do the talking, and then we'll have May like have that like New Yorker attitude for the people who are skeptics.
I'm gonna need you to hear that one. I'm gonna need you to say that one more time for me, Sarah.
The New Yorker attitude.
New Yorker. New Yorker. You gotta
New Yorker attitude.
Yeah, there you go.
And then Junko, you're there for the comedic relief for when we trip on you. And they're like, okay, we have a plan. Let's go on again.
Mm-hmm. And so they go on, and everyone cheers for them. And it's just kind of like just weird shenanigans for a little while, which I don't I've never watched American Idol, but I don't think that this was ever part of it.
Well, I mean, maybe. Like, I don't know what New American Idol's like. There was like a eat like a random food and see if it's spicy in the anime, you know? I don't know if American Idol has that. They might.
Yeah, there's one where there's like one part where they go bungee jumping, and it's like just a hole opens in the middle of the stage and they have to bungee jump down it. And it just, like, goes down into this weird, dark abyss, and no one ever talks about the abyss again. Why don't Idol anime talk about the pit? God damn it!
Why does it keep happening?
Why does this keep happening to me? Ugh. Idol anime, we do not talk about the pit.
But in the end, they do good, and their variety show gets good reviews, and they get hired on to continue hosting American Idol variety show.
Yes. And so we actually have, like, kind of at the end of this episode, as kind of like the closer, we actually get a new song by them that Julia has been, like, working on going viral on TikTok. And so it's a little different from their previous songs because it's a little bit less ska and more like, God, what's the name of the genre I'm thinking of? It's like lo-fi pop that you would, like, play under, like, a vlog. Which is weird for an Idol song, but, like, I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was definitely a vibe.
I would vibe to this. I would chill and relax to this vibe. To this lo-fi tunes to chill and relax to. Wait, Sarah.
Yes.
Lo-fi idols?
Lo-fi idols.
Lo-fi-daroo.
Lo-fi-daroo.
Lo-fi-daroos to chill and relax to. We did it.
We did it. And I feel like also maybe some of Junko's like physical presence is attached to how much she's allowed to crump because she just doesn't show up in the song.
Yeah, no, not at all. There's no crumping in this song, and Junko is just not in it.
She's just not in it.
He's just not in it, no.
Next episode, are we on 11?
Yeah, it's 11. It's our penultimate episode.
And in this episode, we have that trope where someone starts trying too hard and they just break down.
Yep, because, you know, it's like the last quarter of the show. We gotta do it. We gotta have this trope in there.
In this one, we have been focusing a lot on May and her whole rap, like voice change, losing it, all of that. But this one, we're going back to Suki, who had her crisis, and she's like so gung-ho. She's like, I figured out I want to be an American Idol. I'm going to work hard. May's voice is back. I'm just going to go as hard as I can. And she just like trains out the wazoo. Like every single second of the day, she's like lifting weights, running. She runs up and down stairs to like a shrine, like as if they're still in Japan, but they're definitely in America.
Definitely not.
So it's like, where is this weird shrine that she keeps running up the stairs to go pray at?
So this is kind of what I was thinking. Like it might. I think this shrine is in like a weird liminal space because you know, like the guy who works at the shrine, like he just kind of has like that weird vibe. And, like, if you don't, like, I don't know how they achieved this effect in anime, but it was really, really cool, and I would love to find out how they did this, because, like, there's that little guy, there's, like, that old guy who works at the shrine and sometimes comments on her, like, running up and down the stairs as, like, an exercise. When you are looking directly at him, he looks totally normal. But, Sarah, did you notice that, like, whenever you move your eyes kind of away from him and you're just looking at him in the peripherals, he kind of looks like Cthulhu?
That would make sense. So I was attributing it to the fact, like, we're on, like, episode 11, and we're getting really off model at this point. Like, like, the animation is deteriorating. Like, there's people who, like, they're not even blinking, they're just there. Sometimes their lips don't even flap when they're talking. And, like, I was just assuming that was part of, like, the fact that they're running out of time to make this idol anime.
Yeah, at one point, like, during Suki's, like, training montage, she's just jogging, and there's, like, you see, God, what is it? You see, like, someone, like, get into a car crash, and it's very dramatic for, like, a few minutes. You see, like, these two people get into a car crash, but you can tell they were so low on budget. Instead of actually, like, drawing the car crash, it's just white text that says, insert VisFX car crash. And it's like, damn, they are really low on their budget.
Yeah. So maybe that's why he looked off model. It's possible. I didn't know if it was just coincidence, though.
The weird guy weirded me out. And I think he might... okay, so Idol Conspiracy Theory time. I feel like if this cursed show ever gets a season 2, they might talk about this more. I feel like the weird guy... I don't even remember what his name was, but, like, the guy who worked at the shrine, I feel like he has to be, like, some sort of, like... like dark mob boss or something. I have a feeling he was the one who put the bear curse on Simon Cowell. Because, like, there's this, like, one line he says where, like, don't forget, idols will fall eventually. And it's like, does he just hate idols? What the fuck was that about? Why did he say that? Who is this weird old guy? And I think he's just, like, the villain, and we just haven't gotten there yet.
That would make sense, too, with the bear thing, because he had all of, like, those stuffed bears inside the shrine. The taxidermied bears, like the really, I mean, I say they're poorly taxidermied. They were just probably badly drawn because they were out of budget. But like, you know, they had like 5 eyes, and that's just silly.
And that bears only have 3 eyes, and we all know this.
So silly.
Yeah. Kind of giving me Midsommar vibes, too, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Which is, again, this is not the first time we've talked about Midsommar in our iDOL podcast.
It is not! Everybody mark that off on your bingo cards!
How many times?
You want to know the fun thing? I've never even seen that movie. I've just watched a bunch of video essays about it because I find it fascinating.
You've never seen that anime, but you have watched, or you've never seen that show, but you have watched a lot of iDOL anime.
I've watched enough iDOL anime to know where this is going, yeah. That should be the subtitle of this episode. I've seen enough iDOL anime to know where this is going. Except that you can't possibly guess where this is going.
There's no knowing where we're going.
No, there is no knowing. There is no possible way of knowing where we're going.
But at the end of the episode, they have another concert, and they go on stage, and the music starts playing, and right before Suki's about to sing, she collapses, and the episode cuts.
And so now it is time for episode 12. The final episode.
Yep.
The final episode that's going to bring it all together and have everything make sense at the end.
It all comes together.
That we totally have not worked ourselves into a hole coming up with. I mean, watching. So this episode opens. And it's like a flashback episode. The last episode starts with a flashback.
Wild. Really out of budget here.
Like you can tell that like they were probably like intending this to be way cooler than it actually was.
Yeah.
But they were definitely out of money by this point. So we see a flashback, and it's Suki. When she was just like when like her idol senpai neighbor first moved in. And she's like kind of watching from like the window of her house. She's like, wow, I heard that girl's an idol. I wonder what kind of person an idol is. And so like she gets to talking to the idol neighbor, and she's just like, wow, that's so cool. I wish and then suddenly the video starts glitching, which I'm not sure if that was intended.
Okay, so I thought that there was just like the rip of the DVD you sent me was glitched. It was glitching for you too, Star?
It was definitely glitching for me too, yeah. So I think that must have been part of it.
Okay, gotcha.
Because then, like, when the glitch comes, like, when it stops glitching, you literally just see Suki in just, like, the void.
Yeah. So I thought this was just, like, bad animation. I guess it could have actually been a void.
Yeah, no, because she's just, like, standing there, and she's just, like, kind of looking around, and she's like, where did all of our budget go? I was just on stage! And then there's just, like, this voice that just kind of, like, comes out of the void, is like, are you the idol? And I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. So I was taking this to be, like, a metaphor for, like, it's like the social impact American Idol had on the American public, about how it's like a nameless voice deciding who gets to move on, but also how people of all ages could vote in American Idol, whereas most people cannot vote in their general elections. And the complications and just, you know, the unknown that comes with being American Idol.
Tell me more about American Idol, Sarah.
Well, you can dial 1-800.
Oh my god. And so actually, yeah, that pops up She's in there. It's like, so if you want to be you try to be an American Idol, but you have not passed the true test. And then just like a little thing like appears above her head, and it's just like this glowing white light. It's like, do you want Suki to continue to be an idol? Dial 1-800 to vote now on your phones. You at home. And like, this episode's like an hour long, because then we cut to a commercial.
Yep.
For just like something that has nothing to do with the anime.
Yeah,
And
it was actually a commercial for a Japanese drink called Morning Rescue.
Oh yeah?
So
yeah, I don't speak Japanese well enough, so like
Yeah.
I couldn't recognize exactly what it was, but I feel like I recognized the packaging. There was just like a really long extended ad break, but like the little thing was still down in the corners, like, do you want the idol anime to continue? Dial in on your phones.
it's actually interesting. I actually did call this number because I was
Oh,
curious.
did you? Did you? What happened?
Well, I didn't get anybody on the other side, but I did get a charge for about $7, and let me check. It was $7.65. I'm sorry.
Sarah, that's the Idolmaster number.
What?
Yeah, that's 765. That's the Idolmaster number.
Well, that's a weird coincidence because $7.65 was the weird phone charge I got from like this weird cryptic number after I had dialed it.
How did they get your credit card information?
It was charged to my phone bill.
Oh,
So
that's an expensive ass phone call. Damn.
I know. So I'm not sure if that's like still the number like that's attached to whatever this is, or if this weird DVD that was inside of your house is just a way for people to make random money off of collect calls.
Well,
Not sure.
it's actually funny. I checked my bank account like later, and there was like a random deposit of like $7.65, but I figured it was just like, I have my online store, and like, so PayPal charges like get charged straight to my bank, and so I figured that was it. Was that you?
I don't know. I just paid my
I
phone
can like
company.
I can go back and check. Hang on. Let me do this really quick. No, yeah, it says yeah, Sarah, it has like your full name and your address like in the transaction.
Yeah, I don't remember doing that.
Huh.
Anyways, what happens next, Star?
Well, after, yeah. Well, after that, so we finally come back from the commercial break that's just burned into this fucking DVD. And we see the guy from the shrine, and it's like the end of Evangelion, where it's just like everybody surrounding Shinji and just clapping and going, congratulations, congratulations.
Definitely
that's
a
kind of
reference.
that's kind of what this feels like. So you see like all the other girls, and they're there. And they're like clapping. Is like, you definitely have what it takes to be an idol, Suki. And then like the dude from the shrine is there, and he's like, yes, you can be the top idol eventually.
Kelly Clarkson is there.
Yeah,
She's
Kelly
clapping.
Clarkson. Simon Cowell is there, and also the bear.
Yeah,
the
they're
bear's
two
just
separate.
like his pet now, so that's weird.
And then they're like, all you have to do, Suki, is eat this crab feast and you'll become top idol.
Yes, the crab feast that we mentioned and said we were going to come back to in the final episode.
So all of them are just like, eat the crab, Suki, eat the
Eat
crabs.
the crab, Suki. Eat the crab, Suki. And Suki's like, well, why do I have to eat crab cakes to become an idol? And Simon Cowell just goes, well, you are what you eat.
And then the bear just looks at her and is like, synergize.
The bear like snaps and just goes, synergize.
And then she takes the crab legs and she pulls it up to her mouth. And then my power went out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so like every time I get to this scene, I don't know if there's like a weird thing, but it just causes all of the electronics in my house to go out.
Oh, well, Sarah, I think we might just need to burn this DVD. I think you might just need to like burn the DVD that I sent you. I think it might be cursed.
What happens next? Because I can't watch past this point because my power keeps going out.
Oh, you're asking me. Because, like I had some issues, too. But, like, if you watch it on, like, a laptop or something with a charge, it should be okay.
All right, gotcha. I was watching in, like, this weird DVD/TV combo player I found in my attic.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So basically what happens is she goes in, she eats the crab leg, and then she opens her eyes and just like, God, what's... Okay, so you know in the Disney Beauty and the Beast, where like at the very end when the Beast is transforming back into a person, tragic, honestly.
Yep.
And he's got like the little lasers like shooting out of his fingers and everything. That kind of happens to Suki. So she like takes one bite of the crab and she's just like, she like starts floating and her eyes go fully white. And then she's just like surrounded by all these people who are just going like, become iDOL, become iDOL, become... It's very creepy and honestly kind of gave me culty vibes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then suddenly, we flash back and like you see she's still on stage. Like time has not really stopped. Like she had just collapsed and like the other girls are trying to wake her up. And so her eyes pop open and suddenly there's just lasers and she is become disco ball, basically, is what I wrote in my notes. Is like Suki is become disco ball. And so basically what happens is she like stands up and she's like, we are calendar girls! Pew, 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 pew! And just like the laser ball or disco ball lasers are like shooting out and the audience is getting like crazy hype and the rest of the girls are like, something's coming into my head. What is this music? And they play their final song, which apparently just Suki summoned from the void. And it's a very weird song.
Yeah, it's actually the same background music of Kelly Clarkson's Behind These Hazel Eyes, but
Sarah, you're gonna get us copyrighted.
Completely different lyrics.
It's like screamo metal almost. Screamo metal with rap and iDOL twinkles on top of it.
And like Hatsune Miku.
And like Hatsune Miku's there. Yeah, it's like a whole thing. But so basically, like, they're performing so much and all the other girls are getting so into it. And then right at the end of the song, Suki points her hand into the air and just this cylinder of light just goes down over her. And she rises into the sky and like a hole opens in the ceiling and she just shoots up into the sky and she goes into space. And you see that this light is actually coming. Sarah, the light is coming from the moon.
Oh, I get it. Suki Moon.
Yeah, and so like she goes up into the moon, and you know how like different cultures have different things, but you know how they say like the man in the moon or like the rabbit in the moon? No, it's now the Suki in the moon.
It's the iDOL in the moon.
iDOL moon in the And they're like, wow, she really did become top iDOL. She sacrificed herself so that we may continue to be top iDOLs. Our center turned into the moon.
That's rough, buddy.
That's rough, buddy. Yeah, like Akane from the rival idol group, like she shows up, but she's not like actually there. She's just kind of there in spirit for like exactly one frame, and she's just like, that's rough, buddy. And then like Mei turns around and she's not there, and she's like, was that a fucking Avatar The Last Airbender? Was that a fucking Avatar The Last Airbender reference?
Was that a fucking Avatar The Last Airbender reference?
What the fuck was that about? Was there a ghost talking in my ear? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
So yeah, Suki did become the moon at the end of the anime, which I thought was very weird. Why did that need to happen? I don't know. But it was definitely a choice that the directors and the writers made.
So, overall, that was Calendar Girls.
Yeah.
Again,
it's fucking weird.
Who was your best girl?
I told you who my best girl was. The tall, buff, cool one with the long purple hair who's only in like 2 episodes before she gets turned into a crab feast that turns our main character into the fucking moon.
I really liked their senpai Kelly.
Yeah, Kelly senpai. Did you know that she actually... Like, I looked it up because I was curious. She actually does have, like, music and stuff. So, none of the music from the actual anime is on Spotify. But some of her music is. So I wonder if they just had, like, some kind of, celebrity endorsement just for this show.
That's very possible. She was just so nice. Helped out.
Oh, you know what? I forgot. There's, like, one last scene. We go back to her hometown and we see, like, the idol senpai from next door. And she's, like, working on... It's, like... I wonder if, like, a couple months have passed because she's, like, moving out.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so she's, like, looking up at the moon. And she's like, you did it, Suki. You became top Idaru. I'm so proud of you.
That's so
It was really
touching.
cute. Yeah, it was like an after-credit scene.
Oh, I missed it because I couldn't watch past that certain point because my power would just go out.
Yeah, it was a pretty touching ending where the main character, whose name was Suki, did turn into the moon.
Oh, what a charming show this was.
It was fucking weird.
I think it was so endearing. It had a little bit of everything in it.
Yeah.
Just overall... 10 out of 10 idol anime.
You think so?
I have no idea how to place
Or are
this.
you just saying that because you have to say that or else the moon will crash into the earth and kill you?
Please, someone else watch this show so I don't die. Please.
You heard it here, folks. Everybody go online, download this anime, watch it so that my co-host doesn't die and I can still have a podcast next week. Anyway, our next episode is going to be our second anniversary. And let me tell you, I would love to be able to continue our podcast. So y'all get on that. Everybody go watch Calendar Girls.
If I still exist by the next podcast episode, we are going to be summarizing our last year of Idol Days. Send us any questions you have. We might talk about them on the podcast. It'll be just a lot of fun. We won't be talking about specific anime, more just about idols in general.
Yeah, and so, like, we've already gotten a lot of really good questions from folks. We were probably going to do, like, just some silly, like, little things, like, kind of like we did last year.
Yeah.
I have some ideas.
I'm going to do the song lyric translation challenge with Star again, I've decided.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool, yeah.
It'll be fun.
Excellent. But yeah, so that'll be our next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Sarah, if people want to learn more about us and learn where to download Calendar Girls, a totally real show that definitely exists, and watching it is the only way to save you from certain death, where can they go?
They can go to idoldays.card.co. That's idoldays.carrd.co. And if people want to tag us in all of their Calendar Girls cosplay and fan art, where can they find us on social media, Star?
We are on social media at IdolDaysPod on both Twitter and Instagram. So yes, God forbid if anyone draws fan art of this nightmare, please send it our way. I don't care if it's just stick figures. I want to see it.
Perfect. So this has been Idol Days.
We've been Lady. See you next live. Bye. April Fools! We got you!
I am not gonna die ever. Eternal.
Sarah's immortal. Turns out that Sarah is also the moon.
That's for funny.
Yeah, so, welcome to the after show. Welcome to the after show. Real quick, just to clear things up, like for what we were doing, because I kind of want to talk about it.
Yes.
We made a D20 table of idol anime tropes.
Yep.
And so each episode we would roll a new one. We had multiple duplicates, so we had to re-roll. But
we will post the list in our Discord later. I think that would be fun. A
Yes.
screenshot of it. Yep.
yes, I'm honestly, like, I'm looking at some of these that I didn't really notice because we didn't roll and you typed most of these. I missed the one where it says a stage play is a direct metaphor for the pain they feel inside. And that's fucking gold. Thank you, Sarah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you
Thanks a bow.
thank you for your hard work.
You're welcome. So we'll share that with you all later. But thanks for joining us for this April Fool's episode. I don't know. If you want this to be real, maybe you can kickstart it. I don't care.
Calendar Girl. The totally real anime flash animation project on newgrounds.tv or whatever the fuck it is.
Incredible.
It's gonna be the next Nyan Neko Sugar Girls, baby.
Oh,
Let's go!
Let's go!
Let's fucking go. Anyway, this has been our 2022 April Fool's episode. Thanks for listening.
See you next
And
year.
sorry we're so cringe.
Bye.
Bye.